I'm 63 years old, and I haven't heard my son's voice in 11 years. 11 years. You know how long that is? That's 4,015 nights of sitting at this kitchen table, placing this cracked, beat-up smartphone right here in front of me and waiting for it to ring. Every single night, same spot, same chair, same silence. It's 9:47 right now. The fluorescent light above me hums like it's the only thing in this house still alive. The screen just lit up. You want to know what it says? A spam email from a clothing store I've never been to. A bank alert telling me my savings account earned 12 cents of interest. A notification reminding me to update my software. Every night this phone lights up with messages from people who don't know me and companies that don't care about me. But never his name. Never once in 11 years has this screen shown me the only word that matters. My son's name. There's a chair on the other side of this table. It's been empty so long, there's no wear on the cushion. Nobody sits there. Nobody has sat there since my wife left. And before that, nobody really sat there either, because I was never home to sit across from anyone. If you're watching this right now, and you're about to skip dinner with your family because of a meeting, or a deadline, or some deal that feels like it can't wait, sit down. Turn the volume up. You need to hear what I'm about to tell you. Because I am the ghost of your future, and I'm telling you right now, the road you're on doesn't lead where you think it does. Let me take you back. 35 years ago, I was untouchable. At least, that's what I believed. I had a corner office on the 14th floor of a building with my name on the lobby directory. Mahogany desk, Italian leather chair that smelled brand new for 3 years straight because I kept buying new ones. I had 3 phones, and every single one of them rang all day long. Clients, partners, executives, everyone wanted a piece of me, and I loved it. I fed on it. That ringing was the sound of importance, the sound of a man who mattered, and I told myself a lie, the most dangerous lie a father can tell himself. I said, providing is loving. The money I'm making, the house I'm paying for, the school I'm funding, that is my love. They don't need me at the dinner table. They need what I put on the dinner table. I missed my son's first soccer game. I missed the second one too. I missed the school play, where he was a tree in the back row. And I thought, he's a tree. He won't even notice I'm not there. But he noticed. Kids always notice. You think they don't because they stop talking about it. But they stop talking about it because they've already learned the lesson you didn't mean to teach them. that you will not show up. I missed birthdays. Not all of them, but enough. The ones I did show up to, I showed up late, smelling like conference rooms and cold coffee, loosening my tie like I was doing everyone a favor just by walking through the door. I'd hand him a gift I had my assistant pick out, something expensive, something I couldn't even tell you the name of right now. And I'd say, "Happy birthday, buddy. Daddy's got to make a couple calls." A couple calls. That was my catchphrase. A couple calls that lasted the rest of the night. My son used to draw pictures in school. His teacher sent them home in his backpack. You know what every single one of them looked like? A desk. A man sitting behind a desk. That was me. That was Daddy. Not a man playing catch. Not a man pushing a swing. A desk. An empty chair at the kitchen table. That's how my son saw his father. My wife told me once, quietly, almost like she was afraid to say it out loud. She whispered, "He asked me today if you still live here." And you know what I did? I laughed. I actually laughed. I said, "Tell him I'm out here paying for the house he lives in." I thought that was clever. I thought that was a winning answer. I had 3 phones ringing every day back then. Now I have 1. Cracked screen. Permanent silent mode. And it never rings at all. I want to tell you about the night everything changed. Not the night everything fell apart, because it didn't fall apart. That's not how it works. It eroded, quietly, like water wearing down a stone, so slowly you don't notice until the stone is gone. But there was one night, one specific night, that I replay in my mind every single evening when I sit at this table. My son's 16th birthday. I was supposed to be home by 5. My wife had been cooking since noon. Lasagna, his favorite. The one with the 4 cheeses that took 2 hours to bake right. She'd hung balloons in the kitchen, blue and silver, because those were his colors that year. She'd bought a cake from that bakery on 9th Street, the one with the buttercream frosting he'd been talking about for weeks. Everything was ready by 5. The table was set, the candles were lit. I was in a conference room 11 miles away, arguing about quarterly margins with men whose names I can't even remember now. And I looked at my watch at 5:15 and thought, I'll wrap this up in 20 minutes. At 6 o'clock I thought, 30 more minutes. At 7, I stopped looking at my watch altogether, because looking at it meant admitting what I was doing. And what I was doing was choosing a spreadsheet over my son's 16th birthday. I pulled into the driveway at 8:17. I remember the exact time, because the dashboard clock burned it into my eyes. 8:17. 3 hours and 17 minutes late to my only child's birthday. I walked through the front door and loosened my tie. The hallway was dark. The house was so quiet I could hear the kitchen faucet dripping from the doorway. And then the smell hit me. Melted candle wax. That thick, waxy, burnt smell that tells you candles burned all the way down to nothing while someone waited. And underneath that, cold lasagna. Not warm, not fresh from the oven, cold. The kind of cold food gets when it's been sitting out for 3 hours because no one wanted to eat without you. And then eventually they realized they had to because you weren't coming. I walked into the kitchen. The balloons were already sagging, half deflated, drifting lazily toward the floor, like they'd given up. The cake sat on the counter, uncut. 16 candles had melted into the frosting, leaving little waxy trails across the buttercream, like tear streaks. The table was still set. 3 plates, 3 napkins, 3 glasses of water, untouched, with little bubbles clinging to the inside of the glass, the way they do when water's been sitting too long. And there was my son, sitting at the table, alone, not crying, not angry, not looking at the door the way he used to when he was 6 and 7 and 8, waiting for Daddy to come home. He wasn't waiting anymore. He was just sitting there, staring at his plate, like he'd already made peace with something a 16-year-old should never have to make peace with. He didn't look up when I walked in. He didn't yell. He didn't throw anything. He didn't ask where I'd been. He just pushed his chair back, stood up and said 2 words. "Good night, sir." Sir. Not Dad. Not Daddy. Not even my first name. Sir. Like I was a stranger. Like I was a boss who'd walked into the wrong office. Like I was someone he owed politeness to, but nothing else. That word, that single word, hit me harder than any fist ever could. It landed in my chest, and it stayed there. It's still there right now, 11 years later, sitting in my rib cage like a piece of glass I can't pull out. My wife was standing in the doorway behind me. I turned to look at her, hoping for anger, hoping for a fight, hoping for something loud that I could push back against. But her face was calm. Her tears had already dried. She was past the point of anger. She'd arrived somewhere quieter, somewhere worse. Disappointment. The kind of quiet, settled disappointment that doesn't scream because it's already finished grieving. I heard my son's bedroom door close, not slam, close, a soft, deliberate click. The way you close a door when you're not trying to make a statement. The way you close a door when you simply don't care anymore whether the person on the other side hears it or not. That click was the loudest sound I've ever heard in my life. Louder than any phone ringing. Louder than any boardroom applause. That tiny mechanical click of a latch sliding into place. After that night, the calls slowed down. Then they stopped. He went to college. I paid for it, because that's what I knew how to do, write checks. He never called to say thank you. He never called to say anything. There was no dramatic confrontation, no screaming match, no final argument. He just stopped. The way you stop watering a plant you decided isn't worth saving. Quietly, completely. That was 11 years ago. Now it's just me and this phone. I keep it charged, always. I keep it on this table every night, like some kind of altar, some kind of penance for a sin I can never undo. The house is so quiet now, I can hear three things. The refrigerator humming in the corner, the clock ticking on the wall above the stove, and my own breathing. That's it. That's the soundtrack of my life now. Appliances and a clock counting down whatever time I have left. I call my son twice a year, his birthday and Christmas. It goes to voicemail every time. I leave a message. I say, "It's your dad. Just wanted to hear your voice. I love you." Then I hang up and stare at the phone, waiting for it to ring back. It never does. Not once in 11 years. I looked him up on the internet last year. I typed his name into the search bar with shaking hands, like a stranger researching someone I'd never met. I found a wedding photo. My son in a tuxedo, standing next to a beautiful woman in a white dress, smiling the biggest smile I've ever seen on his face. A smile I didn't get to see in person. A wedding I wasn't invited to. I wasn't even told about. I scrolled down and found something else. A baby photo. A little girl with his eyes. My granddaughter. She's out there somewhere right now, maybe 3 or 4 years old, and she has no idea I exist. I've never held her. I've never heard her laugh. I don't even know her name. And every night, when the phone screen goes black after the last spam notification fades away, I see my own reflection in that cracked glass. An old man, alone, sitting at a kitchen table with an empty chair across from him. A man who won everything the world told him to chase and lost the only person who ever truly needed him to just come home. Now I'm talking to you, right there, the one watching this on your phone while your kid is in the other room, the one who just told your daughter, "Not right now, Daddy's busy," the one who's going to miss the recital because the client moved the meeting up, the one who keeps saying, "Next weekend," like weekends are infinite. They're not. I counted mine. I had roughly 900 weekends between my son's birth and the day he stopped calling me Dad. 900. I wasted most of them. Put the phone down. I don't mean later. I don't mean after this video. I mean now. Go find your kid. Go sit on the floor with him and do whatever stupid, boring, beautiful thing they want to do. Color a picture. Watch a cartoon you've seen 40 times. Throw a ball in the backyard. I don't care what it is. Just be there. Be physically, completely, irreversibly there. Don't tell me they understand. They don't understand. They adapt. And that's so much worse, because an adapted child is a child who's learned to live without you. And once they learn that lesson, they don't unlearn it. Trust me. My son adapted beautifully. He built a whole life without me in it. A wife, a daughter, a home. He doesn't need me. I taught him not to. Don't tell me I'm doing this for them. No, you're not. You're doing it for you, for your ego, for your name on a building, for a number in a bank account that your kids will split with lawyers after you're dead. That's not love. That's a transaction. And kids don't remember transactions. They remember who showed up. This phone I'm holding right now has every app ever made, every contact I've ever saved, every notification the world can throw at me. But it will never ring with the only voice that ever mattered. And that is a silence I earned. I trained my son to stop calling. I taught him through 1,000 small absences that I was not available. And eventually he believed me. Don't you dare let your silence teach your children to stop speaking. Go home.